Hey, everybody. What is up? Good to see everybody. OCD Mikey in the house. Los Angeles in the house. Aaron Stott is here, the Corvette Master, and the Cobra Master, and the Viper Master. He's funny. He's got one from each marquee. Normally, these enthusiasts are either a Ford guy, a Chevy guy, or a Dodge guy. Aaron's all three, man. He's a muscle car guy. Oh, so shout out from Iowa, from Dean Jurgensen. Good to see you, Dean. Billy representing from Avondale Estates. What's up, Billy? How are you? Man, Billy killed me the other day with the family recipe of some Italian food. Billy is a local guy. He's going to be coming on in a second as a guest. I'll post here for you, Billy, the link. Billy's going to let's let these the people chalk up and get in here. We'll get maybe at least over 60, and then I'll bring Billy on. I went and tuned Billy's rig. He's got some Magna pens, and I might be going down to help Aaron and his buddy down in South Georgia. And if it were warmer, we'd be driving that rip ass 427 Cobra, but not with cold rubber. We're not, and not with no top either. What's up, Steve? How are you, brother? Steve from OZ. No, Steve DeHart is Steve from the Granite Speaker Guy in Florida. What's up, Neil? Super Performance does rock. Yes, it does. I'll see you, everyone. What's up, Daniel? Steve from Florida, right? Oi, Mal Capone. Oi, he's giving me the Brazilian. Mal Capone, everybody, is a helicopter pilot. Mal Capone is who I flew with back from California in the helicopter. This guy he's a top level helicopter pilot. Charles, give us the recipe. I know, man. I'll have to ask. Look, they're already hitting you up for the recipe there, Billy, because they know that I know. Charles knows that I know good food. We have some long conversations about food, and Charles knows if I say it's kick-ass, it is some serious kick-ass stuff. And trust me, the Ellick family recipe gave me redefined my idea of Italian food, and just something as simple as a meat sauce. It went into the next stratosphere. Tony Wheeler says, hello, everybody. It wasn't as easy shutting down the stereo to log on. Masher says, hi, guys. Hey, Mikey. Dave Olson is up. What's up, Dave? Dave just got a sick, beautiful Lexus, man. That's a beautiful car, brother. What is that thing anyways, man? I started looking at cars. I've been looking a little bit at cars. Cars are crazy these days. They're expensive, man. They're nuts. I was looking around. It's easy to get. You're in $100,000, no problem. You know what you can get for 90 grand? You guys won't believe this. 2012 with like 20,000 miles, freaking McLaren, you can get for like 90 grand. I'm sure the thing is $8,000 for an oil change, but you can get a freaking McLaren, $300,000 car with a freaking carbon fiber monocoque tub for $90,000. Rocky, what's up, Rocky? He's up in the Bronx. Rocky just got himself a Nat Audio magnetic preamp that is being handmade for him. I had a guy down here today that came down and took some Stone speakers back with him from Ohio. He drove down to get some of those Stone speakers, and he's got some Nat Audio stuff. Family secrets are very real. You know it, man. I saw the book. The book was like smeared with like sauce and everything like that. I'm like, man, this is legit. Selling my preamps thanks to that Exogal recommendation. See, Neil got an Exogal. Neil bought an Exogal, tried it without the preamp, and it's so good. He's selling his preamp. You know, at the longer you guys get to know me, the more you'll know that if I make recommendations, they're solid. LC 500 Inspiration. Okay, yeah, that thing is wicked. I heard that thing ripping down the street, bro. That was pretty badass. David from Dallas, safe and sound. Texas Audio Excursion. What is that? Tell us. What's up, David? Good morning from Sweden. I was at the Volvo dealer today, man. I'm a Swedish car driver. I drive a Volvo. Michael Walker, it's 4:20 somewhere here in New Mexico. I know it is, right? It's gonna be. You know that. Hi from Essex, England. Hey, Stephen, how are you, buddy? Somebody called me from London today. Oh, I don't know actually know if he was London. He was in England. He was in UK. His name was Chris. Mike Norris. I went to school with a kid named Mike Norris in high school. Yo, Mike. Appreciate everything you're doing. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you watching. Have high sensitive speakers and purchased a low watt tube amp. Declare Deckware. Okay, probably what he's saying. 25th anniversary. Cool. That's definitely fun to do. YouTube channel records about vinyl. Okay, cool, man. Awesome. Welcome. Do you know Vinyl Richie? That guy's, I like that guy, man. He reminds me of the guys I used to work with. I used to work at a record store, by the way. And so Vinyl Richie's a good dude. Hello from KC. Great information. Oh, Daniel, man, I've got Theron, Shane, and who's my other KC guy? Oh, Jeff. I've got 3 Kansas City dudes that are part of the inner circle of Hi-Fi. Daniel, if you want me to hook you up with 3 different cool audio files, you guys ought to put together a chapter of the Hi-Fi tribe up there in KC, because there's 3 already that are close to me. I can put you in touch with them, Daniel. Just let me know. Just holler, man, and I'll get you guys together. You'll have some other guys to geek out with. Just working on speaker designs. There you go, man. You do know Vinyl Richie. Okay, cool, man. He's a good guy, man. I like that guy. Have high sensitive speakers and not a low watt tube amp Deckware. And wow, didn't realize how important the quality of watts over quantity. Absolutely. It's one of the first lessons you learn. You know, everybody, at first you think it's watts per dollar is what you're after. Oh, I wanted more watts for the least amount of money. So wrong. Hello from Alabama. Hello from Alabama, man. What is in Alabama? What you doing out there? What's happening? You know what's there is the Barber Motorsports Park. That's what I like to go to. And there's a killer outdoor rifle range out there. Excellent. Yeah, okay. Call me up, Daniel, and I'll get you hooked up. Mal Capone says, all you need is Taylor Swift to be a game. It's over my head. We have Southwest Audio Fest coming to Dallas. Yeah, I'll be there, brother. I have a good client there. I haven't been to see his rig. Shit, I've known this guy for maybe 6 years, man, maybe 8. Seen him at a couple shows, Dr. Dale, and he built a house in his backyard, a whole listening room with a garage in the bottom for his cars because he's a car freak, and then upstairs or whatever in a back part or whatever, he's got a whole listening room, and he's got, I don't know, 4 tape machines, 2 Studer 820s. He's got the best shit you can think of, all cello gear, audio palette, all sorts of stuff, man. It's crazy. So I'll be down there, man. Dynamic headroom is critical. Yes, it is. Johnson says, why are reel-to-reel tapes so expensive, and is the sound quality worth the price? Depends on your deck, right? If you use some cheap-ass garage sale deck, then, you know, you don't really need to, you know, it's just, look, remember back in the day, like before, okay, so we go back, like, say, maybe, 10, 15 years ago, vinyl was like the thing for the real audiophiles, right? Not everybody was into vinyl. Then only the real guys that were really audiophiles had vinyl. But then the vinyl resurgence thing came back, right? And all of a sudden, vinyl became popular with the younger generation, and they brought it back, and there was this big resurgence in vinyl. Well, then the guys that were vinyl guys are like, you know, we're not exclusive anymore. Now my son has vinyl and his girlfriend has vinyl and whatever, and there's no exclusivity. So now, in order to be exclusive, you have to have tape, which I've had for a long time. And the real nutbags are into the tape. And tape is, yeah, the stuff that was recorded on tape, it's going to sound best on tape. There's nothing that can touch tape. But the playback designs comes very close enough that I don't listen to my tape, and I have some killer tape machines in my room. And I redid the heads and everything. Mr. Magnapan passed away. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Jim Winey. Or not Jim. Not is his dad? What was his dad? Yeah, Jim. What's the son's name? Mark. Mark is the son. Smash the like button, spread the love. Yeah, everybody who's watching right now, smash the like button, please. Give a thumbs up, man. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it helps out. Okay, and Billy, I'm gonna give you a link. Hang on, Billy. Let me find my invite. Okay, copy. Okay, so Billy, here goes, brother. So just put this into your browser. Copy and paste that into your browser, and then go there, and you'll pop up down in the bottom of my screen, and then I'll add you in as soon as I see you sitting there. Give me a second or two, and I'll add you in. You'll look me up at the show as I'll be broadcasting. Okay, you don't need to look me up. I'm not going to be in a room. I'm going to be walking around. But just if you have my phone number, you can call me and tell me where you are, and we'll meet. Let's see. Mike says the new layout of my room looks killer. Do I demo only audiophile music, or you hand the pad to the person you're hosting and let them go? If they want the pad, the last guy that was here last night, he was like, man, I do this all the time at my house. I always choose the music. Why don't you just choose the music for me? And I said, all right, fine. So I can either MC it, or I hand them the pad and I let them go at it. It doesn't matter. And to tell you to answer your question, no, I am the guy that plays the stuff that's hard to play. I'll play, when I'm doing demos, I want to show you, I do reserve a few tunes that are killer, but first I start with other stuff just to kind of show imaging, and then I come in with some real solid like bass stuff that just blows their mind, Michael playing LRS in memory Magnum Planer inventor Jim Winey. There you go, man. Yeah, I know. He had a long, good. Here is the link. Anybody wants to come in as a guest. First, we're going to have Billy Ellick, from a local guy, Billy Ellick. If you're there, Billy, just copy this thing, paste it into your browser. There you are. I see you, brother. I'll give you a second to get set up there, and then I'll bring you on in a second. But I can see you down there. Anybody else wants to join? We'll have you. We can have you after Billy. Hit the like and share buttons. Yeah, everybody, please help. Back in the 1980s, True Audiophile said vinyl was a bad source. Only reel-to-reel tape was worth serious listening. Yeah, reel-to-reel is how they made the vinyl, right? They make the vinyl using the reel-to-reel masters. Why do shrooms make me music sound so good? I don't know, man, because they're fun guys. Sup, brother? Would you consider Parasound mid-fi? Yes, I would. That's my dad. Who's your dad? Oh, Chris that called, Liam? Was Chris your dad that called up about the Magnapan kits? Ever consider going battery powered and using high quality XL Tech pure sine wave inverter like Strom Tank, but less gay and more badass? That's funny. I don't know, man. Batteries make their own problems. So we don't know. Oh, love you, Billy. Okay. Oh, Liam is Billy's son. Okay, got you. Okay, yeah. What's up, Liam? Your dad told me about you when I even saw a picture of you, man. Thumbs up, kid. You're doing a bang up job. Your dad's a good guy, man. I really dug your dad, man. We had a lot in common. Sonus Faber has new 750,000. Okay, yeah, and that's my jumping in. Got you. Okay, so we're gonna bring Billy on right now, everybody. I'm gonna hide this. Okay, so let's see. Can you say something, Billy? See if we hear you. Yeah,
you got me?
You're on. You're live and in living color.
So do I need to kill the other one, dude?
You can kill maybe your speakers. Are you getting an echo?
I'm getting it. Should I kill the original?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean we can hear you.
It just seems like there's a delay. That's okay.
Yeah, we can see you fine, man.
Okay, cool.
I dig the posters, bro, in the background.
Oh yeah, dude. That's I meant to bring it to my office. It's like,
Oh yeah, killer. So you guys should see Billy's house, man. Every single piece of furniture in his house is, and every single piece of art on the wall, every single object in that house has a story behind it. And you walk through and it's like being in a story book. Like we couldn't, what it took us like what, 20 minutes to get to where we were going, half an hour. Like each room we went in, there was just more stuff to look at. Billy is really a guy who notices the little things. He does not, he notices, he smells the flowers. He doesn't walk past them. He sees the flowers and smells the flowers. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, everything was just super coolest. I was motivated, man, when I came to your place.
well,
Really
it was one of those things, just for the gang out there, is that, I've been following Mikey for quite a while, and on my little journey, everyone's got their own kind of thing. And my light bulb went off fairly recently when I had reached out to Mikey for a little guidance on moving forward with the Sublime Acoustics crossover. And once I did that, it's not that I was completely out of my depth of making everything work with, because I recently got a rel sub and wanted them everything to be like match. I'm like, just bring the expert in, right? And as it's very fortuitous that Mikey literally lives on the other side of Atlanta from me, so we were just able to connect and just pick this past Monday with being the bank holiday. We're like, hey, dude, can you come over? And it was just like, he's like, do I need to bring anything? I'm like, I hope you're hungry because I'm making you lunch, type of thing. And it was just like, but for the whole crew, I will tell you, it really was like such a, and I'll just sum it up this way. When I stepped out my front door and Mikey was in my driveway, I looked out to him and it's like, I looked at somebody and it's like, I already know this man. Like, it's like, it was just super cool. It was just like a really good, just a complete bonding and connection. So yeah, I gave him a little walkthrough around the house, and I'm kind of like Rain Man when it comes to music. It's just my jam. It's just, you can throw my television out the window and you can ask my son, who's probably still out there he'll probably chime in. I only need my television for watching soccer. That's it. But music's my thing, and that's that. So having Mikey involved in really, I'm telling you, Mikey, you were here the better part of every bit of 4 hours plus, right? It was just a full watching Mikey in action was just, it was a combination of inspiring, but also very like awe-inspiring, like watching like an artist kind of do his thing, like just like take all the stuff that I had, I'm trying to follow the playbook of how to set up a rel sub, and Mikey comes in and first thing he's doing, because I've got Maggie 1.7 eyes, and the first question Mikey had was like, hey man, I see the way your room is. How do you want things configured? Do you want like one sweet spot, or do you want things split out? So it was like getting a full understanding of what I was interested in. So once we had that conversation, that gave him the direction to like just go. And then I went to the kitchen and made lunch. It's really what it came down to. It was like, all the lunch was already made. And at some point for the tribe, I'll post a recipe out there for if you want the meatballs, we can do that too, because you're all.
Oh yeah, dude.
But the tomato sauce is one thing. It takes 5 days to make. I think Mikey was involved in it. He got there at day number 3. Just is what it is. Just like everything else. But
Mamma mia.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it was just such a great experience to have Mikey out here doing his thing. And I sent him a text earlier that I was listening. I'm a big fan of Rick Beato, and if you guys in the tribe don't know Rick, he's actually based here in Atlanta too. He's in Stone Mountain. He's a super dude. Amazing interviewer of just everyone, and he had some really badass recommendations of like the top, I think it was like the top 25 recordings. So I of course went out and got some, but I went back and re-listened to some of Seal's, one of his solos, that's the one that has Kiss from a Rose, and just the way Mikey got the room now, it's just like, holy shit, like it's a completely different experience. All of Kid A, Mikey, I went through that last night cover to cover.
Fuller album.
It's just breathtaking, right? It's so articulate. It's so clean. It's so clear. It's so defined. Mr. Subwoofer in the corner is doing his thing. He's not killing the room anymore like dipshit I had it set up. It was, I was shaking pictures, right? It was just like, so to have Mikey come in and do his thing was just, it was a gift. It was a true honor and a privilege. So I can't thank him enough. If anybody out there is interested in having Mikey do his thing, feel free to reach out to me directly, man. It's just a fantastic experience.
Yeah, he's talking about is that I will come and tune your rig. If you're local, it's $500, or if I'm at a show and you're somewhere close by, it's $500. If I have to travel, it's a little more. But I can come and set up your rig, and it's only because I've done this so much. I've done it so much. I've done it in so many different hotel rooms and places, and so many different types of rigs and all that stuff, that I instinctively can go and tune it. And look, if you guys are trying to learn by looking at the books or going on forums or whatever, you have no clue, and you don't know. And unless you haven't, you don't know a frame of reference. So you don't know, is my thing really sounding good, or I don't know, it's an unknowing. So when I can come there, it's like somebody that knows can come and go, okay, cool. We just need to do this, which is a faux pas, or this with these speakers in this room, we're going to want to do this in order for that result, and that kind of thing. So, and it stokes me. My favorite part is meeting guys like Billy, going over, hanging out, tasting the family recipe, chilling, talking about music. Billy's a big time music lover. And we get along, and even though I'd never met Billy face to face, instantly it's a kindred spirit, right? It's the same thing. Like, you see somebody and it's like, oh, cool, my people, So I love that. That's what I love about the tribe. I love about when I meet you guys at the shows, when I meet you guys face to face, it's like family, like long lost family. And it's awesome, man. It's super fulfilling for me. And I love to be able to stoke somebody out, and then and now Billy's enjoying his rig more, which is what it's all about. Yeah.
Total +1, dude. It was just fantastic.
Sweet, man. Cool. Well, look, thanks for joining. I certainly appreciate it. I won't take up any more of your night.
All good, brother.
And as soon as you got those crossover things, I'll come back. We'll get it dialed.
We'll reconnect on that. Yeah. I know they're already on the way they're coming in from Cali, so we'll figure that. And thanks for reaching out to them. That's another example. We had a little bugaboo with the cross, and freaking Mikey's on the phone with the dude who built it, right there around speakerphone. I'm like, holy shit, Mark. Yeah, he's like, and send us a few more cards. And I get an email from him yesterday or that night. And he's like, yeah, they're coming. I'm like, dude, it's too good. So just another example of all the, like, it truly is, like, having this kind of connectivity is priceless. So thank you.
Yeah. You bet, man. And what Billy's talking about is when I was dialing in the rig, even though Billy right now is blown away with it and totally loves it, I know it could be better, and I know what we need to do, and it's the crossover. And and there's a point. I think we're going to be better. We're at 40 right now. I think we're going to be better at 60 to really flush it out exactly how I want. If I was a typical, I don't know, dealer, whatever, somebody else maybe, right? I might just go, well, customer's happy, I'm out of here. I don't need to worry because Billy's happy. But it's not to my level, right? I'm like, I know it can be better. Mark's sending new cards. They're going straight to Billy. I'm going back to his place, showing up, no charge for the second show up. I'm going to come in and really freaking dial it in. So Billy's doing backflips, and maybe I get another meatball out of it.
And I'm already thinking what I'm going to make for you the second time you show up.
Yeah, man. So thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're the best. Yep. Can't wait to have you back. Yep.
Okay, man. Take care.
Yeah, pal.
Take it easy. Okay, so I'm going to go back. Thank you, Billy, for joining us. That was Billy Ellick from Avondale Estates. He's got the most interesting house, man. Liam knows. Liam grew up around that. Dude, Liam, you grew up in a cool house, brother. You grew up in a cool place. I was thinking while he was telling me about his son, I'm like, God, what a cool place for a kid to grow up, and what a cool dad too. Like, you must have had fun growing up with him, man. He would be a great dad. I'm sure he is. Okay, so let's see. Sonus Faber has new $750,000 speakers. Okay, Steven says, yeah, how about that? Isn't that crazy? That is nutso. I gave up on Dayton audio drivers. Morel drivers are way better for what I'm looking for. Yeah, made in Israel, man. Good stuff. Got to close out of the live stream. See you later, Alan. Alan goes to bed early, man. Close your other YouTube window. Oh yeah, he was telling Billy to close the other YouTube window. Okay. When you're gonna spin that reel to reel of Roger McGuinn, when you gonna? I can't, man. These are 24 track. These are the actual session reels. Okay. So look, if you guys know, I'm trying to get with Rick Beato because I don't know if Rick has a way to get a 2-inch 24 track, but I told Rick about these tapes, and the conversation didn't really go anywhere. We talked a little bit. It's funny. I called him up and said, "This is Mike Powell," and he thought I was Mike. This is how big he is. He thought it was freaking Mike Powell, the long jumper, calling his ass. When I said Mike Powell, I'm like, dude, no, it's not Mike Powell, the long jumper. This is little old OCD hi-fi guy. And I'm just calling to let you know that I'm going to put up a video about your video about Nuno Betancourt, you know, and then I just wanted to give him the heads up so he didn't think I was slamming him at all, because I think Rick is man, we are cut from the same cloth. That guy cares about music. He really does. And I can feel it when I listen to him talk. He feels about music the way I feel about music. Clearly, he's in it at a different level of being involved, but he does care about the music. His new tour starts Saturday, April 6th. Oh, cool. Aliso Viejo. That's cool, man. I would like to go see him. I'll have to check it out. Aussie Audiophile connects his streamer to MPD8, which is then fiber. Oh, right. Oh, his streamer. Right. Okay. Why not just direct to MPD8? Ask him. You know, I don't know if Shane's here, but I would ask him. You can kind of, you know, sometimes it's like double, you know, you're doubling up on the goodness or something like that. I don't know. You can what is the difference? Let's see. I think if you hook your streamer into the MPD8, a computer can play like a DSD4, and then you can go through the streamer. But if you're coming in off Ethernet, I don't think DSD4 can come in off Ethernet. That's what my guess would be for that. Got that tribe vibe feeling. You know it, brother. I know that's right. I only have TV for the local news. Oof. Local news is hardcore. Invite all of us down. Come on down right now. Come on down. Hey, Mike, you still make or have your VeraStar speaker wires? Yes, they will be very shortly up on the website for sale, and you guys can buy them there. So, yes, you watches Rick Beato. On the SPA8, what improvement would bringing 220, 240 for the power supply? Are there any audio grade receptacles on the market? So 240 can come in off a normal receptacle. It doesn't need to be special. The only reason it is special is so you don't plug some other shit into it and cook it, right? I use Neutrik, twist lock, power cons for my 220. That way there's no way I'm fitting any prong plug into it. I know that shit's 220 because I have to put in a circle thing and twist it, and it's Neutrik. What improvement would it bring is 220 volts is balance power. So it eliminates any 60 hertz hum. Now, your amp is so well built, there's no 60 hertz hum. What it's going to do for your amp is it's going to just make it run more efficiently. Right now, it draws more current, so it'll run cooler. It won't run as hot, and I don't even know, it might not even, your amp is so big, it might not even run hot right now. But it'll run, typically the amps run more efficiently off 240. They draw less current from the wall, so they run cooler, because you're giving them more voltage. So it's a good way to run the amps. Kid A is cool, but I like OK Computer. I'll have to check that out. I don't know too much about Radiohead, but the music trips me out, man. It's pretty cool. Pretty darn good endorsement. Damn good endorsement. Yeah, Mike. I mean, did you guys see the video short from the local hi-fi guy? This guy buys and sells hi-fi on US Audio Mart. He's been doing it for years. He sells, he's a guy that's like an agent that works for the dealers, and he sells their used stuff. A couple other people, some are on other people on YouTube that do that too. And and he came by and he lost his shit. I mean, you guys saw the video. I can post a link to his video because he did his own video for his own channel, which is called Hi-Fi Symphony. And his name is Martin. And he lost his shit, man. He came over and listened, was like, oh my God, man, this is like the best thing I've ever heard. And this is a guy who just sold another client of mine B&W 801 D4s, which I'm probably going to have here. Maybe if you guys want me to test out some B&Ws, I can get some 801 D4s here. If you guys want me to run them through the gauntlet, it's going to be a heavy lift, but I'm willing to do it if you guys want to see it. I'll bet you I'll make them sound good. Anyways, yeah, so keep watching. I'll keep putting people up for endorsements so you can, Billy said, hey man, are you going to have a live stream? And he wanted to be on it. And I said, yeah. And I asked him, would you come on and tell people? He said, sure, man, because he was just fired up about it. So yeah. Hey, Mike Ravinder, I bought Metrum Adagio in 2018 based on your recommendation and you're still loving it. All right, buddy. Yeah. Metrum made some good stuff. Listen to Mikey. Dude has integrity. Thanks, Tex. I appreciate that, man. Hey, guys, what's your take on audio by Van Alstyne monoblock amps? They're okay. I mean, I've had a couple customers that I had one in particular that compared the Jeff Rowland 125 to the audio by Van Alstyne monos, and the Jeff Rowland stereo amp was better in their test. They liked it. They said totally killed these. And those are more power. I think they're more power. I can't remember how much power. Those have like 300 watts or something like that. But I think they're good. I don't think they're bad. They're good, but I don't know that they're not as good as Jeff Rowland 125s. And 125 is like a $4,000 amp. So I don't know how much those cost, but there's better out there. But I think if you could get those things for $2,000, I think that would be great. Great endorsement, Mikey. Not a box pusher. No, I'm not. I will go tune your stuff. I don't even need to make a sale. How important is earwax removal for audiophiles? I don't know, brother. I've never done it. I'm thinking of visiting an audiologist for an ear cleaning. I think I'll try it too, just to see. I can let you guys know the results. I think I'll try that too. Got to mix them to 2-inch. That is 2-inch, brother. What you mean is got to mix them to 1/4-inch, 2-track, half-track. I've got those over there. These are the actual session reels. Roger McGuinn was in the freaking room with this tape reel at the same time. Okay, that's fucking nuts. Excuse my F word. That's nuts, man. I mean, I've got Tina Turner in here. I've got Joni Mitchell. I've got and a bunch of stuff I've never heard. DT Faircloth, like what the hell is that? Live at Palomino, at the Palomino Club. What else do I have? DT Faircloth. I gotta look that up. Some of these bands that are on here, I've never heard of. These performers, and then I look them up on Google, and I find out what they are, and I'm like, oh my god, man, they're pretty good. Kinky Friedman, like I've never even heard of this guy. John Mayall, I got John Mayall over there. I've got REO Speedwagon. I've got Loggins and Messina. It's pretty cool. So I've already got the mixes. I can play the half-track stuff, but I can't play the multi-track stuff. Anyways, how good is a Puritan Ultimate Power Cord in your experience? I don't have any experience with it. I'll sell it if people want it, but I think I potentially may make a better Virastar cable. I need to send one to someone who's got it, man. If anybody's watching and you have the Puritan Ultimate, let me know and I'll send you mine. And I'd need you to compare for me and do the beta for me. Rocky says loving his Edelweiss MPD6. Yep, Rocky bought that a year or 2 years ago with streamer option. Could not spring for MPD8, but I played Lotto today. Sweet, man. I know another guy. I talked with another guy in Montana today. My buddy Randy, who bought the Edelweiss MPD6 with streamer option as well, and he is just loving it. But he still wants to upgrade. I've got a guy, Chris, in California, who did the upgrade that can give either of you guys feedback on the upgrade and how well it went. Krell 427, that's a very good deal to get Mikey to dial in your system for 500. Yeah, I've spent more on tweaks that were barely noticeable. I'll have to move to the US. Yeah, or you can fly me out to some cool place where I can visit, man. Where are you? Are you in the UK or where are you? Down under? What's my take on AudioNet amps? I know nothing about them. Hey, tribe, there he is. Shane, what's up, brother? What, man, there was, you came up in the discussion a second ago. Shane, what did they say about Aussie audiophile? I can't remember, brother. Let's see. Derek says, Mikey, what is your favorite Class A B amp not currently sold? Oh, wow. Why? I mean, an old Jeff Rowland 625 S2 is not currently sold, and that was my favorite before the 555. So, are you? I mean, more so, are you trying to ask me like, what are some good old used amps? Is that what you want to know? Let me know. Jason White is also a proud owner of a Playback Designs MPD8. Would be cool to do a Jedi themed video with the B&W playing the role of R2D2. Wouldn't that be funny? Totally, man. It is a total droid. How much hate do you get for pulling back the curtains on the OZ and illusion? Oh, the Oz and illusion of high-end audio. I don't from you guys. Okay, so the end users, I'll tell you the people that get upset from me are the guys that own Magico and Wilson and shit like Dart Seal and shit like that, because I talk smack. I make them look like bozos. Okay. And I don't mean it against them. It's against the manufacturer typically, or the dealer that's setting them up poorly, but they take it personally and get butthurt because they own that shit. Right. And then they don't want to talk to me, or they just, or they're going to be, I have a local customer, a guy who was tight with me, right? Like he was totally, we've never had any bad blood ever. In fact, I came back one time because he was on a new kick for cables. I gave him like 6,000 cash and bought all my shit back from him. No problem, man. He didn't even have to trade it in on anything. And then he went and got Dart Seal. I sent him an email or two. Oh, you got a Dart Seal system? Let me come and check it out. Like, I want to see if Dart Seal is worth a shit or if Dart Seal is just bullshit, okay? Because in my estimation, I've gone to Dart Seal at the shows. It's never impressed me, okay? Now, it could have been that it was with Evolution Acoustics and those speakers, maybe whatever. Those rooms never frickin' did anything for me, okay? And so the jury is still out for me with Dart Seal. I think maybe it's a farce. But and so when I say stuff like that, and I showed the Dart Seal cartridge that was $1 million Swiss francs or something, which is ridiculous. It was a cartridge, right? Or something like that. Now, maybe that was a publicity stunt for them or whatever, but I dug into Dart Seal. So what happens is I make enemies of the Dart Seal owners because they get butthurt that I'm questioning their high and almighty red and gold thing that they got sitting on their floor, sticking out like a sore thumb. And I and this goes into a whole deep conversation. But so the people that like Boulder, the people that like Magico, the people that sell the things that I don't like, they think that me talking about it and saying that I don't get it, if they can't make sales, then they're going to blame it on me. Their inadequacies in being good enough to sell, they'll find a scapegoat, which is I'm their favorite scapegoat, to be, oh, well, you're going to affect our sales and you're going to affect the, it's just all sorts of bullshit. I talked with one just ridiculous dealer in Canada, and just how this guy tried to, he's a used car guy that got into the business, and how he tried to explain to me the overpricing of stuff. Well, they got to pay people and they have their own factories. And it's like, well, so does everybody. So when I expose the Oz, I'm getting a little off the subject, but when I expose the Oz and I pull the curtain back, the people that get upset are the people that have a vested interest in the hustle. right? Because I'm exposing their hustle. I'm educating people to know how to find the real good stuff and not the fluff stuff. Industry people that are like, that don't like that I upset the apple cart, those are because I'm showing you guys behind the curtain. And then people that have the products that I talk smack about. Some people are cool enough or adult enough or reasonable enough, if you want, that they have Wilson, like Shane, man. Shane's watching. And Shane has Wilson. He knows I've never heard it sound good. Now, I trust if Shane can make it sound good, that it probably can sound good. And I'll bet you if I had some Wilsons here, I could make them sound killer too. I just think that they get in hands of people that don't know how to set them up. And at the dealers and stuff like that, because you see, it's like a cabal, man. They have to when you're a dealer and you have a brick and mortar and you carry Macintosh, you can't carry other brands. If you tell Macintosh, I want to bring Eggleston Works into the thing, they will, or maybe not. Who was it? They would tell Focal. Like if you tell Focal you want to have another speaker in there, and I think it's Focal. I can't remember exactly the brand. But that brand, Focal or whoever brand, will tell you, if you put that brand in your showroom, you cannot sell our stuff anymore. That's how they play. So they keep a closed circuit. You can only match the Wilson, say, with Macintosh, or Macintosh with Sonusfaber, or Wilson with Griffin, or there's these little, or Focal with Name. There's these little things that are all, that's why when people tell me those systems, I know they bought it at a dealer, because I'm like, oh, that match is a dealer match. That's because that's the way those things are marketed. They don't, and in some cases they don't go well together. But so when I expose that kind of stuff, that's what the haters now, and then if I ever get flack from other YouTubers, it's typically because those YouTubers are in bed with certain dealers that sell those brands that I don't like. Okay. And it's not even that I don't think the brands are good. It's just that I don't personally like the taste. So I've had other other YouTubers will talk smack sometimes about, or just kind of, chuck me under the bus or something like that. And it's gotten less and less, but that'll be done because the dealer that they support, you have to understand, some of these YouTubers are sponsored by dealers, and the dealers pay them to advertise, right? And so if that dealer is friends with that YouTuber, and that dealer gets pissed at me or doesn't like me because I said something about the brands he carries, he is going to pressure that YouTuber. He's going to complain to that YouTuber, and then that YouTuber might make something going against what I do, okay? Because this is how it's played. It's a game, bro. So anyways, but typically speaking, in the end, you guys have given me your support, and that's all I care about. I honestly don't give a shit if people don't like me in the industry. They can screw off, because the bottom line is I'm true to you guys. I'm true to the end users, okay? I'm not true to the establishment. I'm not true to those guys. They've never done anything for me, okay? It's just a very cliquey, little holier than thou little group that you have to kiss Fanny. And I don't play that very well. I'm not good like that, man. I'm a regular dude and I represent regular people that, that want a good value and that don't want to get treated in some fake way. Okay. So anyways, so I know that took a long time. Toronto. I don't know if that's the town where this dude comes from, but it's not. I talked, by the way, you guys, I met Adrian from what's his company's Audio Excellence in Canada. Really good guy, man. That guy was cool. Like, I like Adrian. I met him and I got a good feeling from him and a good vibe. My feeling was he's one of the good guys. Now, I don't know him that well, but based on the people that he's close with after we talked, he's in good company. So I know he's in good company. If he's hanging with those people, he's probably a class act. So I liked Adrian. And I like Jay Ziagi. Okay. I've sat with Jay Ziagi. I've spent some time with him at the shows, and Jay is a good guy too. I think Jay worked for Adrian at one point. And I spent time with Jay at one of the shows, and I like Jay. Jay's cool shit. But then there's another in Canada who shouldn't be in our industry at all. Shouldn't be in our industry, and he has lied and done whatever to get his way into some. He's left a trail of tears behind him. There's so much bad talk about this guy from customers. He's left so many customers upset that I don't know how he's still in this industry. And I won't talk about who he is. Sorry I'm late. Just sold one of my resto cars. Oh, really? What did you sell, man? That thing that does wheelies? What's the difference between an okay good and a great power conditioner? Okay, so there is no difference, man. There's either a great one or you don't freaking use one. Okay, so there are no 3 levels of power conditioner. There's either you use one or you don't, and the one that you use better be freaking great, or don't use one at all. Hope that makes sense. Lamp Pacific. There you go. Okay. So Lampizator is that's weird. Anyways, Lampizator is a really cool interesting DAC that you can put all sorts of tubes in the output stage, and it's a cool creation. You know, I had the Golden Gate back when the Lampizator top of the line was, you know, I think it was $18,000 at the time, right? And you know, I used to follow Lucas when he was a DIY guy, and he would modify DACs and stuff like that, and then he created his own, and it was a DIY thing. And Lucas, you know, he made his way into the big time. Now he's in the big time. And Lucas's and Lampizator's claim to fame is their magnificent analog output stage, their tube output stage. That is really their forte, in my opinion. Now, I'm not familiar with his newest designs, so I've not been inside them, so I can't comment from that. The latest stuff that I've been inside was the Golden Gate. Balanced, okay, and that was the one very familiar with the insides of it, so I know what DAC board was in there. I know exactly what the analog out, the power supply, everything. Like I was in it, like, and I understand circuits when I look at them. Andreas is a completely different ball of wax. Andreas is a digital engineer. Okay, Andreas does not do the analog output section. He has Bert Gerlach, who does the output and analog output sections. Andreas is a whiz digital engineer. Okay. Andreas creates his own algorithms. Andreas invented sample rate conversion. Okay. So he was the guy that took master tape and created the machines and the ability or the way to take analog and turn it into digital. He's grandfathered digital music, period, because he created sample rate conversion. That's how you make digital, right? From tape. And then he came here to the United States. He's Swiss. He came to the United States, worked for Sony, created SACD. And so this guy is a digital engineer whiz. And that's not the type of company that Lampizator is. Lampizator is a hand-built, bespoke craftsman output section company that teams up with, I don't know who makes their front ends of their machines, the DACs. When it was Golden Gate, it was a Socris board. You know, I don't think they use that anymore. I have no idea who does it. But their magic is their tubes. Okay, and that's what they lean on. I found that I like solid state DACs a little bit better. At least with my Golden Gate, drums did not have a concussive dynamic punch. I had 300 Bs in there, and there just wasn't the punch. It was a beautiful image, beautiful, magical sounding image, but it didn't have visceral dynamic impact. that the playback designs had. Now it took a Metrum Acoustics is what took out my Lampesator Golden Gate. Metrum Acoustics Adagio, the top of the line Metrum Acoustics. Then the Rockna Wave Dream Signature Balanced took that one out. That was a little too harsh. It imaged incredibly, but it was just a little bit too forward. So an APL Hi-Fi took out the Rockna, and then Playback Designs took out the APL. So here was the Golden Gate for me. I had 3 DACs beat the Lampesator before I got the playback. So here's playback, here's Lampesator Golden Gate. Now I realize the Golden Gate's the older one. That's the only thing I can speak to. Pacific is probably better. I'm sure they've learned things since then. But that was how my trajectory went. Lampesator has gotten fabulously, popular, and it's a cool brand. And I love Lucas, man. And I love Fred and Rob. I know those guys since we were punks coming to the shows, man, with like shit that would break and we'd have to fix it at the show. And Lucas is over here soldering shit, and I'm over here running around, getting cables. And that's when we found Jeff Rowland, man. Was we had the Lampesator amp had a little problem. We replaced it with the Jeff Rowland. That's how I found out about Jeff Rowland. I was like, oh my God. Like I knew about him, but when we put that amp in on Ryan's Vapor Audio speakers, we all were blown away. Like, holy crap. Okay, so Eddie says, any recommendation for AB monoblocks under 15K? AB monos under 15. Typically, when ABs are made in monoblocks, it's because they're big. So typically, an AB mono is going to be 300 watts or more. They don't really make small ones. Now, under 15K is hard. For 19K, I can get you into a pair of monoblocks that are Viola Labs, that are 75 watts per channel and high current and really sweet. That's the best for monos. Otherwise, for 15K, I've got you into a Jeff Rowland 555, which will kick the butt on most monoblocks. And it is the cutting edge. There is no Class AB more cutting edge than Jeff Rowland's Class AB, for sure, in my opinion. I don't get that gold and red stuff either. Yeah, see? So Shane doesn't understand. Oh man, see there, I dropped it. Dart Seal. Shane doesn't understand. Shane can have whatever he wants. He's probably had it in his room, in and out. And it's one of those things that has this mystique. So if you don't know any better, you buy it because you're throwing money at your rig. You're trying to buy up. You're trying to get the most expensive shit because you're trying to reach something. And then you throw it at that one. And then in my experience, it doesn't deliver. It's the same with Boulder. I've never felt like Boulder delivers. Again, that's just my personal opinion. I mean, it could be the best stuff on the planet and maybe my ears are screwed up. But so anyways, hey, Nikki, what's up? Hope all is well. Thanks, man. Same to you. I love the sound of my Wilsons. Cool. I've loved the sound of Wilson, and I'm thrilled I finally have a pair. They are demanding. I'm not butthurt. Cool. So Tony's cool. See, Tony doesn't care that I haven't found a love of Wilson. To me, it's analytical. What amps do you use with it, Tony? Why don't you tell us what amps you got? And what amps, and do you listen to vinyl or do you have a DAC, and what DAC? So what DAC and amps, tell us if you have a preamp too. Let us know what your rig is, Tony, because it'll be, and what Wilsons are they? And maybe you've got the combination that works. I think, speaking about Wilsons, when I was down at Big J's in Florida, and we put the Rolands in with the Wilson and the Playback Designs, at one point, we had Playback Designs and Roland in together on his Wilsons. And I liked him the best that way. He liked things a little different, but I was like, okay, I see where this is going. So I think if I had a set of Wilsons, I could probably glean respect for him. I shouldn't say respect. glean a love or a like for them. I respect them even though I don't like them. And I shouldn't say it, I don't like, oh, I don't like them. I just I've never fallen in love with the sound. I like them from a visual standpoint. I like them from a build standpoint. Like I look at the backs and how they're built and I go, freaking cool. You know, it's like that's like how racing motorcycle shit is made. And it looks very almost automotive to me. And I like it. It looks like racing stuff. I like the build of it, but you know, sometimes things that are really marketed turn me off, even if they're really great. Like Apple, I don't like Apple stuff. It's pushed in my face too much, you know. Certain things that are popular, that are like really popular, a lot of times it turns me off just because they're popular. I'm like, I like something a little not as popular, something that you kind of like, that you have to really be in the know about, you know. Absolutely. One of the big things Wilson says, you've got to set them up properly and you've got to pair them with the right electronics. I would imagine, because they seem very accurate. So Trash Panda Projects just chiming in to say hi. There's Danny. Danny's coming in to say hi. How's your channel doing, brother? Is it growing? Let us know, man. Danny's got a channel, Trash Panda Projects, where he shows you guys how to make. I mean, this guy blows my mind. He lives in a house that he made from like scraps from like the construction sites. He just asked him if he can go through, and he gets extra stuff. He made a freaking house, and he told me he was going to do it, and I'm like, whatever, dude. And I've seen pictures of the place, and it's 2 stories. It's crazy. This guy's nuts, man. He's a rainmaker. You know, you gotta go there if you want to be motivated. Go watch Danny's channel, man. He'll show you how to live like a king with nothing, seemingly nothing. Danny has everything. He's got the world in his heart. Let's put it that way. Love you, man. Any proof for this? Proof for what? Proof for what? My video covering my electrical wiring from the power meter to my rig was the best I've ever seen. You continue to show us your cred. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, as time goes by, you know, I reveal little layers and little layers, because this is stuff that I take for granted, you know. Every once in a while, I'll tell you things that I've done in my history, and you guys will be like, whoa, Mikey flew first class. LG paid for Mikey to fly first class to Seoul, Korea twice to sit with the top brass of LG Electronics because he was on Mark Levinson's team as the marketing specialist. And he stayed in the JW Marriott, fully paid by LG Electronics, eating 5-star meals like every night. I could tell you about the whole trip and everything we did. And I went into the, you know, I can't remember the name of that street, but oh man, it was cool. Look, I've been to Korea twice. Little shit like that. I'll drip it out little by little, and you'll go, you know, man, Mikey's our man. No, I was letting you know where I live. Where do you live? Did you say it, man? I already was trying. You said somewhere. See if I missed it. Oh, Toronto. Oh, that's where. Okay, cool. I would like to go there sometime, man, because I've not been, dude. I've been in the Boundary Waters. Like, I want to go to. Let's see. Toronto is that looks like a cool place. I've heard the food is really good there. I've heard there's some good talent up there, if you know what I mean. Anyways, Wilson understands the absolute importance of time alignment. Okay. They just go about it in a very demanding, complex way. I take a very different and simpler track to achieve perfect timing. Okay. So that's cool. Makes sense. Adrian, now a Daniel Hertz dealer. That's right. He is. Yep. I called him up to ask him about it, because look, Mark tells me how good it is. And dude, of course Mark's going to tell me how good it is. Mark is very compelling. No matter what he's telling you, you're going to, if he could convince me to jump off a building that it's the best idea and it feels better than anything I've ever done, and I'd probably do it, man, because he's just that convincing. He's just that good. And I love the man. So when he tells me that his new thing is great, of course it's great. It's freaking better than anything. I needed to hear it from Adrian, because, and the other guy was Steve Huff. So, you know, Steve Huff is telling me that it's the best thing. I'm like, of course it's the best thing. Excuse me. I almost said the F word. I did a little bit. You're a freaking camera guy, dude. You don't have good, strong audiophile history. So what, I'm going to trust you that you think his shit's good? Of course you think it's good. You know, you don't know. Adrian, on the other hand, carries Macintosh. He carries AccuPhase. He hangs out with dudes and goes to their houses and has clients that have all this stuff. So he took this amp to his client's house that had big Griffin amps, Apex Griffin. He took it and he put it against the top of the line Macintosh. He put it against the top line AccuPhase. And Adrian is freaked out by this shit. He is freaked out. He doesn't believe his ears. And I know exactly what he's going through. I can completely relate, because that's what happened to me when I heard Playback Designs. It's what happened to me when I heard AGD. And it's also what happened to me when I heard those big giant ass Nat Audio tube amps. I'm just like, what the F? Like, I can't, I think I don't trust that I'm really hearing this stuff. Like, I need to have somebody else tell me that to corroborate my hearing, because maybe I'm just hallucinating. And that's the stage where Adrian is. He can't believe what he's hearing, because it is. He told me in no uncertain terms that it's not just matching other things; it's smoking it. Okay, so I'm like, now I have a hard time believing that. So I'm just gonna buy one. I'm buying one. I put in my order. Mark's pulling one off the next go around, the next production run. So I'll have one here, and then I will run it through my gauntlet, and then I will respond. I will compare it to AGD. I will compare it to Roland. I will compare it to all the stuff that I have, and I think I've got some pretty exquisite stuff. Like, doesn't surprise me that it beats Macintosh. Okay, AccuPhase I don't know enough about to say. Griffin Apex, that it beats that. That's pretty big accolades, man. So I've got high hopes for the Daniel Hertz thing. The other thing that makes it really special is its functionality, its operation. I mean, the fact that I can tune for you guys to your speakers. I can tune the amp to your speakers while I'm here and you're there. I don't even have to come to your house. And I can tune your room. I can tune, not the room, but I can tune the amplifier to better match your desire in what the sound is like. So it's like this. You're sitting there, well, Mikey, I'm listening to Maria. You know, it's kind of like mid-range seems a little recessed. I really dig a little bit more mid-range. Okay, boom. How does it sound now? Oh, Mikey, that's much better. Now it's got it. That's exactly. Okay, great. You know, or you know, I could use a little more bass too. Can you give me a little more bass? Boom, I make an adjustment. Boom, now you got a little bit more bass. I can do it remotely. I can tune it perfectly for your taste, listening taste. And this thing's 13 grand. It's 12,000 euro, just so you guys, in case you're wondering. It's 12,000 euro, which works out to like 13 grand. But this is something that's a DAC. It's a freaking preamp. It's an amplifier. It's everything but streamer. It's everything but streamer. So all you do is hook your computer to it, or your streamer to it, or you can Bluetooth from your phone, so your whole family can use it. Super easy. This is a potential. It is in a different category. It's I wouldn't even put it up against stuff. It is something that is in its own class, because it's a new way of thinking. Okay. So it turns everything on its head. I have to listen to it now, right, to corroborate what I'm hearing. But this is the concept. So I'm buying one, and I'll tell you guys about it once I have it. What's up, William? I like Adrian, really good guy. He is a good guy, man. I agree. He's cool. He's one of us. Yeah, that makes sense. Have I heard Total DAC? I have not heard Total DAC, but I have a customer who has the Total DAC, whatever, 4 chassis thing. And he wants to get an MPD-8, but he wants to hear it first. And I don't have a demo that I can send him. And he spent so much money on his Total DAC. I pre-sell all my damn MPD-8s. I don't have anything that I can shake loose, because they're all sold. By the time in February, I'm selling for February right now. I've got 5 allotted for February. I've got 1 left. 4 sold. I've got 1 left. By the time they're ready to ship, they'll be gone. So I can't send them to one. But what he said is, the feedback that I got was, it sounds good. He liked the way it sounded. He didn't like the boxes. He thought they were cheap, kind of flimsy boxes for how expensive it was. And he doesn't like that it's in 4 different boxes. He'd rather have 1 box solution, you know? And so I have not heard it though. But I don't I think if it were bigger, I'd hear of more people having it. He's the only one I know that has a total DAC. I don't know anybody else. Out of all my customers that call me and I say, what DAC do you have? Only one guy has a total DAC. So, hi, Mikey. Later, able watching the whole show. What's up, Rich? How are you, buddy? Good to see you, man. He came by and listened. Rich, you got to come back to the crib and listen to my rig right now. It's better than when you were here. You got to come by and listen. I got the new amps in. What is the benefit of silver plating the copper grounding rods versus plain copper? Because it's more conductive. Or am I really a prepper hoarding silver in my backyard? No, it's silver plating, so it wouldn't be. But I get the joke. The benefit is it's higher conductivity. Okay. Hey, Mike, did I sell Denafrips in the past? I did. Would I still recommend their R2R DACs? Okay. There's many caveats to that. Okay. So it's not a great DAC. I'm only speaking about the Terminator. They're top of the line. Okay. It's a good DAC. It's not a great DAC. Okay. In my opinion. Next of all, the business model that Denafrips, I'm not going to go deep into this because you guys know my feeling about this. The business model that Denafrips is sold on is a business model that eviscerates the US audio market. It completely eviscerates it because you're buying direct from China. Okay. So I don't agree with that business model because it is to our detriment should we do that. Now, if you're, I noticed by your name, maybe you're in Eastern Europe or something like that. If you're in Eastern Europe, it's going to eviscerate your local market. Maybe you don't have much of a local market and it doesn't matter, but we have a pretty strong hi-fi market here. I was just reading something today about electric vehicles and batteries coming from China and Chinese EVs undercutting the US market and trying to disrupt the US market because the government, the CCP, the Communist Party of China, subsidizes the companies over there so that they can sell for lower because they get money from the government, right? And so they sell for lower and they undercut Tesla and they undercut everybody else, and it screws the market, okay? So they're putting things in place, or they're going to change things so that they can't do that. But China is not a good player, okay? They're in it for themselves, and they don't care about screwing a whole market and screwing our whole market over here. So I don't recommend buying any Chi-Fi, not just Denafrips. And then Denafrips is $6,000 and it's not that great. I can beat it for $2,500 using a new OnTech from Denmark. So, that's the whole thing about that. I don't think Denafrips has done a great job marketing, but man, they have pulled the wool over people's eyes. I don't know how they've done it. They've done a great job. But I mean, I would recommend new OnTech. Can I talk about that big ass in the world? Is that what ITW? Tube amp you got in looks like wild, and what's the cost for tube replacement? Okay, tubes are okay. So here's the great thing about that amp. It is, nobody knows about that vacuum tube for hi-fi because it's not used for hi-fi outside of Nat Audio. Maybe someone else has copied it now or something, but nobody is aware of that as a hi-fi tube. Therefore, it sells at ham radio prices, which is $150 a tube for something this big. You saw how big it is. It's freaking huge. And it's the most glorious sounding thing you've ever heard in your life. But nobody knows that it's a hi-fi tube. So it sells for $150. If you buy it like on the open market. If you buy it through Nat Audio, they're going to be maybe, because they're going to have special ends put on so it fits their amp. It's going to have, it has some things. So they're going to be, I think they're $1,000 a tube, $800 or $1,000 a tube through Nat Audio if I get them for you. So they're not outrageous. There's, if you look at 300Bs, Takatsuki, shit, those can be 15. I think those are 1,500 each or 1,500 a pair. I can't remember how much, but they're a lot. Okay. So they're not any real anymore. If you buy them on the open market and you just put your own little wire ends on them, which I don't know how you'd have to desolder the ones from the current amp and then solder them onto new wires, which you could do, and you could use the sheath. You could make it work, right? But I would just buy them from Nat Audio. If you buy them from Nat Audio, they're, I think, $800 a tube. So not that big of a deal. The amps are $40K. They just brought out the new version of that amp, $94,000. So anybody considering that big tube amp for $40K, better jump on that amp for $40K right now, because they're about ready to go up. I'm nervous that they're going to eliminate the model that I have here for 40 and just only sell the 94K, because they can do it and people will pay for it. It's just, I can't stand it, man. They're at that point where these brands, all of a sudden, one day, everything doubles. It happened to Lampezator. It happens to every single brand. They start out as a real strong value, and then one day, boom, it's like that. The next price you get, it's twice. You're like, what the F are you guys doing? And it's because too many people told them how good their stuff was. And they told, oh my God, this is so much better than my $50,000 thing. Then these people start to say, well, shit, we could charge $50,000 then. And then they do. Or 96 or 94 rather, in this case. So that is the sickest tube amp. Pretty soon, I'm going to take it out of the rig where it's being used on my tweeters, and I'm going to have it powering the TADs, by themselves with those tube amps. And it's going to smoke doors. I can't wait to listen to what it's going to sound like. And then I've got 2 new pairs of the big the Stone speakers. We're going to try it with those as well, and we'll see where only the tube amps are powering. Right now, what you hear in my big rig, you're hearing Jeff Rowland, a plate amp on the bass, Jeff Rowland and the tubes all together. But we'll be able to hear it one at a time with the others. Speaking of punch that thumbs up button. Yes, thank you. Whoever's watching, hit the thumbs up button. Just click. You click it. You're watching it right now. Click the thumbs up. Support what I'm doing. That helps. So appreciate that. Hi, Mike. This is Aaron. What is up, Aaron? How are you, buddy? Good to see you, man. I talked to Aaron earlier today. Aaron is getting ready to, he's probably going to be the proud new owner of some Magma M's, the one down from the Big Nat monos. He's going to put them in his rig, and he can tell us about it. Visceral dynamic impact, a mouthful. I know it is, right? Expanding on Michael's question, what is the tube life expectancy on that bad boy? Okay, so there's 2 different settings. There's a high setting, 160 watts. There's a low setting of 60 watts. On that low setting, it's 10,000 hours. On the high setting, it's 5,000 hours. Any opinion on Air integrated? It's good stuff. It's never really made me all excited, but it's good stuff. I've heard of some people that have had it, that it's needed. 2 people that I know that have the Air, the CD player, the vacuum tube CD player / DAC, and both of those customers have needed to send them in for repair. So I don't have a third customer to compare that with, but so far the only 2 guys that I know that have Air. Wait, now is it Air or is it is Air the guys that are in Colorado, or are they the guys that are in Vienna, Austria? Are they the Austrian guys? I can't remember. I get Air and that other company mixed up. I can't remember. I'm having a brain fart. My Alexias have never sounded better with the Vetus Mono, Vetus preamp, and the Dream stack. Did you try it without the Vetus preamp and just the MPD8 direct? I have the Sasha DAW with Past Labs mono. Okay, so see, you've got Past Labs is total liquid sound. So Past Labs for most of us is too soft and too warm and too liquidy. So you've got an analytical speaker teamed up with a liquidy amp. So that is a good mix right there with ARC ref preamp. Okay, so that is more like kind of in the middle, a little like right in the middle. And then Ref Phono Pre, Soda turntable, and Soundsmith DAC streamer is AC. Oh, Aries, Surratt, Helene. Tony, were you the guy? Did you call me up and you wanted to sell that and get an MPD8, or was that somebody else? And Antipodes K50. I sold one of those. Yeah, good, man. Cool. Yeah, I used to. Antipodes was the first. I learned a lot about streamers from Antipodes, from selling at Antipodes and building them. Your music server, are you still using something you built or something commercial? I'm using something commercial. I'm using a I replaced mine with the Playback Designs because it has a ST glass fiber optic output. Repurposing and reusing what I have. Yeah. Is your channel growing, Danny? Way to stick to what you believe in, Mikey. Yeah, thanks, brother. Tony Wheeler says 2 dedicated circuits and an AudioQuest Niagara. Yep, power cord. Yep, you ought to try a Puritan Audio line conditioner. They work really well. Love that Danny built his house from scraps. Did you see that? Been in the commercial construction 50 years and I always thought to build a room from samples. So cool that Danny actually did it. Isn't that cool, Bill? Super cool, man. I mean, he's motivating. And I sit there and talk to the guy and he just tells me, oh yeah, I picked up a couple more lots. Now here's a guy that like, he makes it happen from nothing. It's like, dude, how do you own property? How do you do that? And it's like, he's figured out how to get it for $800 for a quarter, whatever, a half acre, you know, in his town. And I'm talking about in town with sewer hookups and water and all that shit. And then he will, you know, give a guy a down payment and he works and they understand each other and they make deals and they shake on it. There's no contracts and they pay. It's totally motivating, man. It's super cool. So you guys should go. If you haven't been to Trash Panda Projects, go to Danny's Trash Panda Project site. And man, you guys are going to be motivated. I used to work together with Danny back in San Francisco. This guy's he grew up in Marin County. Okay. Like where all the rock stars live in Marin County, like Carlos Santana, the Grateful Dead. Like he went to school with the Dead, with Jerry's daughters. You know, and here he is. He said, I'm signing off and I'm going bonzo, you know, and he did it, man. He said, I'm going to unplug and do it my way. And he has, and it's super, super motivating. So let's see, been playing around with some Sony PCM R500 DAT drives. They're amazing for studio work. Oh, cool, man. I remember the DAT tapes were cool. Love that Danny built. Oh yeah, for sure, man. That is cool. Just join the talk. When source is the key to great audio. Well, no, it's not. It's not the key to great source. Source is not the key to great audio. The key to great audio is matching the system and put in room setup, right? Like, I mean, that's the key to great audio. Having it set up right, first of all, and having things matched well, you know. But I'll answer your question. Why is it there's not much talk on using reel-to-reel tape, right? Because master tape copies would be the best. The reason there's not much talk is because the tape machines they're no longer made. There's a couple companies that make them, but it's for the audiophile crowd, so they're retarded expensive, right? And then the tapes are $300 a piece. So who's going to buy them? You know, is there really? I mean, how and then how realistic is it that it's not very realistic? I've got tapes and I've got a tape machine player and I don't even use them, bro. I still use my streamer, you know, just because there's so much rigmarole that goes with playing them, man. It's like there's so much involved, pulling them out, demagging your thing, you know, cleaning your heads, doing all that shit. It's just a whole it eats too much time. Andrew says, dude, I'm one of the coolest guys in audio. Thanks, Andrew. You tend to classify things to which country they are made. I do, because it's just like cars, man. There's different cultures make things differently. They do things differently. They make things different. Features are important to different cultures, so they make things differently. So which country audio makers are your favorites and why? So US for sure, and Europe, period. I could just team it up in two. You know, South America doesn't really make stuff, right? You know, we could look at some areas that don't really make stuff. Australia makes some cool stuff. Um, you know, Canada makes some cool stuff, but that's part of North America, right? Um, um, Canadian stuff is good, but British is polite. It's just like you think about the British, you know, nature of being just like I don't know the word. What's the word for it? You know, there's got to be. I'm sure the Brits have a word for what that's called, posh or like some shit like that. British polite, where it's, you know, you're polite, you know. And then if you're gonna be a hooligan, it's done behind closed doors or whatever, right? Or just like kind of not. It's not out in the open, right? So British hi-fi, but you know, it's weird because British hi-fi is polite, and then we've got British, but you know, the British make freaking Aston Martin, which is brutal, hardcore machine. You know, so there are some British things that are strong and mach, really hardcore. If I'm not mistaken, isn't McLaren from Britain? You know, so there are some things that are hardcore, but typically British hi-fi is just polite. Um, I really I like Japanese stuff, and that goes across the board. With Japan, there's so much pride in what they do and tradition that I love that it's imbued in their product. It's like a spiritual practice when they create something, especially the hand-built Japanese stuff, Japanese cutlery, the chef's knives from Japan. Forget it, off the charts. Like, I mean, look at their swords. I mean, I can't even go into that whole deal. But like, I mean, so Japanese stuff, I love Japanese stuff. Um, you know, Denmark, pretty much anything coming out of Denmark is going to be killer hi-fi. You know, Denmark is kind of like, I don't know anything crappy that I could think of that came out of Denmark for hi-fi. You know, France, you know, WLA, I think, isn't that made in France? I'm not that, I think it's cool looking. I'm not a fan of the sound. But Vermeer comes from France. There's a couple things from France that are cool that I like. But typically Europe and United States for hi-fi. Um, I'm not likely to use a Chinese battery in anything. I told you about the Gibson Stratocaster guitar I saw there. Too much shit is fake or cutting corners. Yeah, and look, man, don't get me wrong. It is definitely not the people, right? It's not the people. It's their regime, and just the idea of copying stuff. And then doing it for less, and but it's a blatant copy. I just don't think there's integrity in that. Nat 10 times markup. Hello, Chi-Fi. Yeah, for you, evidently. Go ahead, buddy. It's all you, brother. Drink it down, man. Why don't you move over there? I heard today Hertz Car Rental is selling off their EVs. I saw, and there I read that thing and I saw them. They're not maintaining a charge with low temps in the winter. That's right, and the stations are not charging them up. Yep. So that's not good. It's too early for EVs. That's how I think. It's not the technology needs to mature. Greeny, dude, what's up, man? Long time no talk to, brother. You guys, we've got the timpani. That's why it says Timp 123. He's timpani in the Portland Symphony Orchestra. Greeny's good shit, man. This is a solid brother. Talk about a music lover, man. This is a guy that is timpani in the symphony. And man, he sent me pics of his house and how they do parties there. And man, Greeny, it sucks that we're so far away, because I would come to every one of your damn parties and I would bring some delicious something that I made and listen to the music. His wife is a concert pianist, and they freaking have parties in their house where they have like ensembles and they play live music like right there in the house. I'm like, oh, dude, so jelly, man. Someday I'll make it out there. So anyways, Greeny is wondering if you personally listen to the Fisher & Fisher 1000.1. How so do they compare to the 770? I haven't heard them yet. I want to bring them here, but the 770s are too big for the room I'm in right now. So I'm trying to figure out how do I make this work by getting the 1000s. I would imagine that if I'm just to speculate, I'm going to say it scales bigger and it's got more bass. You know, because that's typically how I've heard. I've gone up in the Fisher and Fisher line, and typically as we go up, we get a bigger scale, meaning you can fill a bigger room. Okay, you can put them farther away from you the bigger they get, and they need to be further away because that sonic needs to develop between the top. You know, they're tall, so you need a little distance from them. Otherwise, the drivers are too. They're closer. The further away you get, the closer they are from up to down. The ratio of the distance is closer, tighter ratio. So I would just imagine if it's anything like what I've experienced with the others going up in the line, it's going to scale up. It's going to have more bombastic bass, and it's just going to be a bigger image and be able to fill a bigger room. So typically that's how I recommend these things. The bigger the room, the bigger you go up the line, because at one point you're going to have, you're not going to be able to get them. You'll get them too big for your room. You'll have them right. They'll be too close to you. You won't be able to get them far enough away. So typically you buy the speaker for the size of your room. That's how you typically do this. So depending on your room size would be what I would recommend for those speakers. Those are, let's see, the 770s are 40K. Then we go up to 70 or 80K on the 1000s. But these are something that are like, I mean, they compare, you look at the Wilsons that are that same size and they're 375,000, you know, so 80K is really extremely reasonable. Fisher and Fisher is one of the companies that they're in their golden, in the Goldilocks zone, right? Same with Nat Audio's in its Goldilocks zone. TAD is in its premium zone. It's already gone past the Goldilocks. Viola Labs it's in its premium. It's already gone past its Goldilocks. Nat is on the verge of popping into premium from Goldilocks. But really, my favorite is finding you guys the products that are in the Goldilocks zone, which means before they go double in price, because those 1000 speakers could be 160K, and that would be reasonable. It wouldn't be too much to ask, but they're still only 80 because Fisher and Fisher is still in the Goldilocks zone. Same with the Roland stuff, you know. He is still in the Goldilocks zone, even though it looks like a premium. Opinion on Orchard audio decks and amps. Not my cup of tea. It might be a good value if they're a couple grand. You know, that's not the type of brand that I'm going to spend $6-8 grand on, or the brand. But that seems to me, I think they're like $2,000, right? If it's in the $2,000 range, great, man. Those are entry level kind of, how do you explain that? It's like shit audio. It's that kind of a brand, or Peachtree Audio. It's one of those kind of little companies that the stuff isn't. They're not trying to be lead in quality. They're trying to lead in value versus quality. So they're not like trying to be the best of what they are. They're trying to just be the best value. So there's something to be said for that. Many people buy in that. Greedy American Hi-Fi versus evil CCP. It's all greed, brother. It's all greed. You know, everywhere you turn, man, you can't escape the greed. That's the way of our life right now, and it's horrible. Just subscribed. Love your vibe and honesty. Good to have a guy like you. Thanks, Seb. Good to meet you, man. I dig your name. Seb Fontaine. I listen to some Seb Fontaine, man. Is Seb short for Sebastian? Or is it or I wonder. It's a cool name. Welcome. Yes, Colorado. Okay, so that's the Colorado brand. Air. What's the one that's from Austria then? And it's got an A too, man. And I once I get my mind on one, I can't remember the other. And if I get my mind on the other one, I don't remember Air. And it's another name that like you can pronounce it a couple different ways. Ion. Ayon, Ion is the other one. Okay, so not the Air, whatever. Those are not the ones that they had the CD player that didn't work. That's Ion, Ayon. I know two people that have Ion CD player DACs with the tubes. They're supposed to sound good when they're working, and maybe they work, but both of my clients have had to send them back for repairs. And this is the kind of company that makes you pay, at least in their case, both shipping both ways. They didn't seem, one guy told me he asked them to save the parts that they removed because they wanted to replace the whole transport. And he said, can you save the old transport and send it back? Like, send me the old part. And they said, oh, why? So you can put it on your wall and frame it. Like, they were being assholes about it. Like, I'm like, screw that company. If they talk to you that way, I'll never buy anything from them. I'll never even talk good about them because I know how they treat their customers. So maybe it sounds okay, but I know how the guys are there. So yeah, Ire is Colorado. Do they say Ire or Air? I don't know. Do I drive an EV? I do not. No. Yeah. Dude, fuck China. Okay. Do you need me to say it? I mean, just because I use Chinese shit, I'll wipe my ass with it. I mean, no, I don't drive an EV. EV is, I think the technology is not up to par yet. Hans B. Huizian choose Ire integrated for this top reference system. Oh, okay. Cool. We're happy for him. Ire doesn't make tube gear. Okay, Air doesn't make tube gear. That's cool. Hans is a poser. He doesn't know how to listen critically. Okay, I don't know enough about the guy. You're welcome to come hear the system. If you say it sucks, I won't be butthurt. I'm 2 hours. Okay, Tony, you're the guy. Okay, I remember. You're 2 hours. Are you south, Tony? Because maybe I can do it on my way to oh wait, Tony, are you the dude that's friends with Aaron? Aaron Stott? Is that you, brother? Do you have 30.1? No, you just said you have this guy has Magnapan 30.1s. You have Wilson's. So are you south, bro? Like Thomasville. I may be going to Thomasville. And hopefully you're south, and then that I could knock two birds out with one stone. I have major static buildup in my audio room. Put in a humidifier. Have discharged a few times by touching my preamp. No damage yet, but how do I solve this problem? Any suggestions? I'm using high quality Luxman pieces. Yes, that comes from being dry. Are you in the north? You can put a humidifier in your room at the back of the room, okay? Or you can go get Scotchgard anti-stat, or what, not Scotchgard, but what is that anti-stat spray, and spray it in front of your audio gear on the carpeting, okay? And then when you walk up to the carpeting, you've got anti-static spray that's been sprayed on the carpet, and you can touch your gear, and you should not get a shock. An alternate would be to put a grounded mat, an ESD mat, which when you step on it, it'll ground, and then when you touch your thing, you'll be grounded. So that's another. Those are three things that you can do. Right there. David Stingray drives a Corvette. Hey, Mikey, room is looking good. Saw that in your video the other day. Thanks, brother. Any new big changes coming this year? Maybe. Stay tuned and find out. Of course, there will be changes. Yeah, I don't know what. I'm not going to be changing gear. Maybe I'll be changing stuff around so we can listen to it, and we'll be testing things. And I'm probably do some things with the room, a little more things with the room. What does it mean to listen critically? It's like, what does it mean to taste critically? When you do a tasting of wine, it's the equivalent. Listening critically is an audio tasting. Okay, so it's paying attention to every bit of the sonic, just like you would pay attention to every bit of the taste. That's the best way to put it. It's critiquing. Do I have the Puritan audio in stock? Yes. Start with ABs. With ABs. What? AB amps? AB is what you talking. SF Tesla. Are you in San Francisco, man? Let me know if you're in San Fran, dude. I used to live there in Twin Peaks. What do I think about 211s? 211s are cool. What are the defining characteristics of those tubes? Old? I don't know. The defining characteristics are that they're big ass single-ended triode. transmitter tubes. They're strong. They're stronger than a 300B. Okay, a 211 is 845 is my preference, and then GM 70 is the best of that type of tube for me, in my opinion, in my experience, is GM 70. That's my favorite. A 211 is a kind of, man, that's going to be a little hard to find. It's going to be kind of a weird, obscure tube. 211 is not really in my wheelhouse. An 845 would be more preferable to me, and then preferable to an 845 is a GM 70. And the characteristics are they're big ass single-ended triodes, so they're strong. You can have one tube and still do really well and power a lot of amps. If you put a couple of them together and push pull, you're going to get more power, but then you're going to have distortion because it's two tubes and they're handing off to one another, and there's a dead spot in the middle. So one tube is always the best. And just a little note to self for you guys: if you're going to buy a tube amp, one single output tube is always the best. The second you introduce a second output tube into there, unless it's in series, or I'm sorry, in what parallel, I can't remember which. There's one way to put two tubes together where it still maintains single-ended triode. It's not push-pull. The other way, you're push-pulling. You're handing off from one tube to the other, and you're going back and forth, and there's crossover distortion in that. It's like parallel set or series parallel set is the one where you can put two. You need to ask, if you have two tubes, you need to ask, is it parallel or is it push-pull? My Wadia 581 sweet amp, sweet DAC, has been in my stack for years. A friend bought the Esoteric K03 and tried it just too analytical compared to the Wadia Musicali. My Wadia has been in my stack for years. Friend bought the Esoteric and tried it. It's too analytical. Suggestions for who? For your friend? Sell the Esoteric. Am I missing something? I don't know. Tell me if I'm missing something. Absolutely not the people. They were wonderful. Well, of course. Yeah, totally. Yeah, the people are great. Just like anywhere you go, dude. Any culture you go to, any country you go to, typically, we all want the same thing as people. We want to have a good meal. We want to laugh. We want to enjoy each other's company. We want to tell stories. We want to just do cool shit together, man. People typically love one another, I think, overall. But then there's the bad eggs, of course. Move there. Good one. I know. I'm being a smart ass, right? I know. It's like, good, try it. Sample it and tell me what you think. It would suck. And you know what? It's because I stand for the damn people, man. I'll tell you something that you guys don't know. Some of my top customers, out of my top customers, I would say at least 60% of them are Chinese Americans, because they know that I stand for the people. And the reason I stand out against China is the CCP, not the people, man. I want the people to be free. I want the people to be able to practice whatever religion they want. I want them to be able to not have to be under the thumb where they can't express themselves. That's like old times. That's like slaves. It's like it's indentured servitude. You're controlling the masses, man. How can you do that like that? It's just, I'm not going to go into it. I love people. Am I thinking about having Voxative in my portfolio? I don't know, because going to Voxative means going to Tweaksville, right? It means I'm going into single driver Cuckoosville, and it's not really Cuckoosville. Maybe it's a bad term, but it's tweaky. A single driver speaker. What Voxative is made for is for tubes, and for kind of low wattage tubes to sound really good for those big, single-ended triodes I was talking about. That's Tweaksville, man. The more I do what I do, I realize that people just want, and I've been through Tweaksville. I've tried all that stuff. In the end, I prefer things that just are set and forget, that I don't have to engage with all the time, that I don't have to tinker with all the time. Okay. So I like designs that do that. Now, I'm not saying that Voxative, you have to do that, but it's like the amount of consultation and education I would have to do to bring people into that world, and then for what? So that they can be in a really tweak intensive sort of area of the market of the hobby. I'd rather put them into a Roland with like Fisher and Fisher, and it's done. And Playback Designs, you get a Roland 555, a pair of Fisher speakers, and Playback Designs MPD8. You're done for the rest of your life. You never have to worry about it again. That's it. You checked it off. Let's go car racing. Let's go ride motorcycles. Let's ride the Transamerica Trail. Let's go hang gliding. Let's scuba dive. Let's do other shit with our freaking life instead of being in the damn room inside, changing cables and doing shit and trying this and trying that and all this crap. At some point there's other things we want to do, and if people want to tweak and do all that, that's fine. But I may not be your seller for that. Because I don't sell turntables for the exact reason that it's too much tweaking, man. I don't want to bring that into people's life. I want to make their lives simpler and more enjoyable and give them more time to do things they love. I want to check hi-fi off their list, not bring them into the quagmire, not bring them into my, quicksand of hi-fi, which it's a rabbit hole. So I'm not trying to bring them into my hole and keep them there. I'm trying to, it's like, what is it's like the saying, I could give you a fish every day and feed you, or I could teach you how to fish and you could feed yourself for the rest of your life, right? So I'm more of the teach you how to fish, means teach you how to go straight to the end and get done with the hobby. Because all you guys are doing when you're tweaking and trying different shit, you're trying to get across the line. Really, that's the goal. You're trying to find the thing that makes you stop, right? It's fun, and you tell yourself it's fun. But if you really had your druthers, you would want a dream system that was like the magic system that you never had to tweak with again, wouldn't you? That's what I wanted. I actually didn't know I wanted it until I crossed the line, and then went, oh my God, what a relief. I thought I was going to have to dink with this forever. And I had accepted that I would just screw with an audio system. It would be part of my life for the rest of my life. Well, man, I want to do more with my life. My time is more precious. The older I get, the less I want to spend dinking with anything. Okay. That's why, like, when I go buy cars now, it's got to have a freaking warranty. I'm not buying the one at the good price because it's used, and sure, I'll buy a used one, but it's going to be a CPO vehicle because I want the freaking warranty, because I don't want to dink with it. I don't want to do the brake jobs anymore. I used to turn wrenches. I got a killer set of tools, dude. Do I want to turn wrenches anymore? No, I don't want to turn wrenches anymore. I don't want to spend time with my time. And so that end of hi-fi with the tubes and the single drivers and what's the field coils and Tungar power supplies and all this stuff, man, you're going down, and that's a rabbit hole, man. And it's fun, yeah, but I've been there, and I'd rather just not be in something that gives me that sort of anxiety. So I don't know if I'll do Voxative, because it's kind of a different ball of wax, but it is killer stuff. If you are into learning about that, Voxative is a brand that I highly recommend. It's great. If I listen critically, after a couple of hours, I fall asleep. Brain drain. Yeah, that could be. I mean, typically, really, you want to get to the point where you critical listening doesn't even occur to you. It's not even a thing. You don't even, it's not even a thing. And that's what you experience when you come to my house. You will experience that you're not sitting there listening to how it sounds and listening to how it does this and how it does that. You're fully engaged in the music. That's all we talk about is the music. We're not talking about the sonic. And if you fall asleep, that can be a good sign, because that means your system is relaxing. Carlson, you made it back. There he is, man. Okay, so this is, everybody say hello to Eric Carlson, and his name is Erik, and Carlson isn't with the C, it's with the K. And So I call him Eric the Viking because of that spelling. He's totally Scandinavian. You even look like a Viking, bro. You've got a Viking face. This guy's he's strong blooded. You can just tell, man. He's got that Viking look. So he made it back to Ohio. He came here and bought the Fisher and Fisher 470 speakers that I had at the show. Really enjoyed finally getting to hear your rig in person. Sounded phenomenal. Looking forward to setting up the new speakers. Yeah, let us know how it goes, man. If you next week when we come back to the show, come on and tell us how it sounds. We would love to hear because he'll have them hooked up. Yeah, and you can let us know what amp, what DAC, all that stuff. So that is Eric, everybody. Thoughts on DeVore Fidelity audio note. Andrew. So no, you're not Andrew, where are you, buddy? I'm just going to be straight honest. I got a problem with John DeVore. Okay. So I don't like his brand because I don't like the dude. Okay. So I'll stop right there. Audio note. I don't know anything about, man. It's supposed to be really good stuff. It's very expensive, but I think it's made, if it's the Audio Note Japan, it's made in the highest bespoke Japanese quality, like TAD or something like that. You know, I've got some really cool stuff too called Bridge Audio Labs from Japan, and that guy worked for Luxman. He was the head engineer, and he did his own brand called Bridge Audio Labs, and I have 2 DACs by Bridge. I have to keep one. I don't even use it, but it's highly just collectible piece, you know, because it's so cool the way it's built. God, this thing, I mean, you look inside and he took capacitors and I don't know if he used an existing electrolytic and pulled the can off it, but there's cardboard around the outside. So like he took the can off. So there was a lot of people, and you'll see this, I don't know if you guys know this, but one of the tricks that you do when you're tweaking audiophile is you cut the plastic off your electrolytic caps because they hold static. So you remove the plastic, which of course, then you don't know what value they are and all that shit. But if you don't care, you cut the plastic off. In this case, not only is the plastic off, but the freaking metal is off, and cardboard, paper, you know, little surround on the capacitors, and then it's filled with epoxy. Like he's got it hand filled each one, and there's these caps. Like you look, and there's a copper covering over the DAC part that makes this Faraday shield, and you just look inside this thing and the circuit, and you're just like, you're boom, your mind just goes, oh my God, look at the level of and I was back then when I got that thing, I modded everything. I'm like, I can bring it around. It's got chips. Let me, you know, op amps, because it has an op amp output stage. Typically, I don't like that on a DAC. I was like, I can put better op amps, or I can put discrete op amps in and make it better. All these things that I was thinking. But when I opened it up, there was so much spirit from this builder. I think his name was Hiroshi or whatever. He signed it, right? This old dude. There was so much of his spirit and his intent in the build. I couldn't touch it. I had instant honor for it. It was like, I could see it. It spoke to, I could see it inside. I'm like, it's sacrilege to touch this thing. I can't touch it, man. So I didn't. And I have one. I can sell one. $35,000 when they were being sold. I would sell this one for $8K. If someone wants a stellar, it's on the musical side. So it's best teamed with like a preamp that is solid state and or like an audio research or something that is kind of like neutral. So yeah, any experience with Backert Labs? None whatsoever. I hear great things about them. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. I have no. Is that you? Is it your company? Is that why you're Backrack 01? I don't know anything about the company, but I also hear good things, man. You know, they're supposed to make a good preamp, man. I know nothing about it. If you're Backert, send me one, bro. I'll test it out and let you know. Sebastian, okay, so it is Seb. Okay, cool. I wondered. Tony, Greed is a 172 cable bill, and I still have to sit through commercials on every channel. Holy shit. Yeah, it didn't used to be that way when the cable was $6 a month. You know what? I've got a great thing about the Clear Channel that bought up all the radio stations. Listen to Rick Beato. Rick Beato has he's talking about how it's a fascinating discussion about how these companies, Clear Channel came in, big corporate interest, and bought up all the radio stations. And then instead of having all these different program directors, you had one program director handling all these radio stations. So the music choices for those radio stations became homogenized, and to the point where they would play the music that they liked. Those particular program directors would play their own personal taste in music. And to the point where they controlled so many of the radio stations, and so much of the sales was controlled by what they chose to put on the radio, that producers and music and bands would produce music designed for those particular freaking program directors, and it homogenized rock and roll and ruined rock and roll in the early 90s. It was like after Nirvana and those bands and Stone Temple Pilots, like when Nickelback came out, that was the beginning. That was the end. That was the end of rock and roll music, because everything had to be like Nickelback for them to play it, and it was over. It's a fascinating, but yeah, greed is really, really rampant these days. I stand against it. I stand against it, man. Daddy-O, Daddy-O. I'm gonna call you Daddy-O, man. Hey, Mike, sorry I'm late. Is that a 67 vet? What is that? That looks like a fastback vet, like with a custom resto mod. I can't tell. Hi, Mike, sorry I'm late. I will go back and listen to it later. Stupid Dale. Who's Stupid Dale? Is this Dale in Texas? Dale? Or is that Dale D up in Wisconsin? Tony is in Middle Georgia. Okay, so where, like, what's in Middle Georgia? What is that, like, Macon or something like that? Is Macon Middle Georgia? Where are you? Are you at, or is it like, what's that other place where they drive the golf carts? Some city, Peachtree City, something like that, or further down. Tony Wheeler, right here in SoCal, my cable bill is $296 a month for cable TV, dude. Is that how much it is, bro? That's dude. I talked to Eric the Viking was here, and he told me his electrical bill in Ohio. His electrical bill is $1,200, man. I was like, holy shit, dude. How do you what do you have, like a mansion? But that's crazy. So around the nation, man, electric, everything's different. Everything's the cable bill. Shit, mine's like, I don't even know how much mine is, because I don't have cable. That's why. I have the fiber for internet. That's it. I don't use cable TV. I use the internet, baby. Do the internet. Why don't you cable guys just do internet, man? Cut your damn cable. The internet's cheaper. If you got fast internet, man, you get all sorts of TV channels. Hans Bjork, I don't even know how to say that guy's name, has a well-respected audiophile YouTube channel and web blog from Denmark. Yeah, I know who the dude is. I've seen him. He's an old dude. Yeah. Someone didn't like him on here. Wine tasting. Yes. Where else? You're in San Fran, brother? Where are you, man? Where in San Fran do you live? You better be in the city if you're using those letters, bro. Because if you're in Millbrae or South City, or you're trying to claim the turf of San Fran, you might be able to get away with it if you're South City. But if you're in you wouldn't do it if you're in San Ho. You got to be in San Fran, man. Only people that are in the city, dude. What happened to your city, bro? It's not. Dude, I used to live there, and I love that city. I was talking about somebody else that was there. Is this? Wait, man. Is this? Are you the doctor that I talked to the other day? Is that? I talked to a doctor the other day in San Francisco, and he's talking about. We were talking about MPD-8. Is that you? What is holographic 3D soundstage and people talk about? How do I explain it? It's like okay, so just listen to your audio system, close your eyes and just listen. Does it sound like it's flat and everything is on a board? Like you have if you were to visualize this, it would be like a piece of plywood that is your sound. It's one big flat board that goes from one front of the speaker to the other front of the speaker. It doesn't come forward, it doesn't go backward. It's about, this wide, and all the sound is in there and it doesn't come out. That is two-dimensional sound. Three-dimensional sound is when you close your eyes, there is very distinct layers of music. It is deep, it is wide. You can point to the bass players over there, the guitarist is over there, the vocalist is right here. There's distinct layering. That's 3D holographic soundstage. If you close your eyes, you can visualize everything. It's very much visual. It becomes visual. So that's why they use the word 3D, because it's so amazingly beautiful sounding and deep and spatial, and the cues of instrument placement are so proper that it gives you a visual of what's going on. That's why I say in my rig, it's like turning a big storybook page every time you do a different song, because it's that visual. AB source swap out for comparisons. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I picked up my esoteric transport today, and I'll do CD versus streaming. How about that for all you guys that think CD is better? I can do that one. Mikey, how do you categorize my music collection? Alphabetically by genre? I tried your trick of sheepskin on my leather chair back. Much better. See, brother? Thanks for the tip. No reflections now. That's right. See, I ain't as stupid as I look. And I didn't learn that. Like I didn't read that anywhere. That was something I just thought, makes sense to me. Maybe I'll try it, and it worked. How do I categorize? I don't categorize it. I rip it, and it automatically categorizes it by whatever software I'm using to play it back. So that does it. Rune does it, or M Connect Pro does it, or whatever I'm using. So I don't categorize it. I don't have to. The software does it for me. So typically, if I was searching for something, I just search by name, man. I rarely am searching by genre, unless I'm exploring. If I'm exploring experimental music, then I'll look for a genre. Or if I feel like metal, I'll put in metal. Or if I feel like something, I'll put it in. But typically, I'm going after artists, and then it's recommending me other things. I do a lot of exploration. I every single time I listen, almost I learn a new artist, or I learn new music. I almost every single time. I love to do that. Do I ever feel the need to sell my gear and take a break? Hell no, brother. Overconsumed by the hobby. Keep it healthy. Okay, that is a very good question. Okay, but it doesn't make me feel like selling my gear. It just makes me feel like not listening. So that's why I have motorcycles. I jump on my motorcycle and I go tour. I'll take a trip if I want to. I'll go do a trip and go somewhere, or I'll go out, or even if I'm staying home, if I'm burnt on listening, I will watch movies. I will do something else. So yeah, it happens. It happened after the show. You go to a show, all that intensive listening, all day long, just listening to snippets of music and over. Man, you come back from a show, you're burnt on that shit. And it's like, I want to just sit around and do nothing, and so I'll just sit there like lazy and watch something on the tube, man, watch a documentary. I love to watch documentaries. And whatever. So it's not, I'm not in there all the time. And the rig, if you're analyzing it all the time, that becomes tedious. When the rig crosses the level where you just connect with the music, it's much more enjoyable. Then you can go in there to calm down. That's the whole thing, is I want to make systems for people where you go in and you calm down, not where you go into the rig and you're agitated or got anxiety, or you're analyzing, what does it sound like? Does it sound good enough? What does vocal sound like? Man, I better try some bass. What does bass sound like? I better try. Oh, it's not quite there. I can't stand that. I want to just go in there and lay back. And sometimes I can close my eyes, man, and just drift off into dreamy land, listening to tunes. That's when having streaming is great, because you don't have to get up. Getting up to switch a CD or a record, dude, are you kidding me? What you talking about, Willis? No way. I'm gonna kick back and I'm gonna let the thing pick music. Put on Floyd or something like that, or whatever, and just listen to the full composition from front to back and just lay there and veg, man, and go into, you know, take a trip around the bay, have me back in the same day. Timothy Leary, bump, 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 bump. Who knows that song? Here's Bobby Finger Red number 1. Bobby Fingered? What? I don't have it. I don't. What do you mean? Imaging matters. Yes, it does. That's for the 3D. Hey, Mikey, can you give a shout out to our audio group, the Rusty Zippers? Yeah, I can, man. Shout out to Rusty Zippers. What's up, brothers? We're too old for BS. Love your authentic, engaging perspective. Thanks, guys. You know, I mean, I really appreciate that, Michael. And I get calls nearly every day with guys telling me the same thing. And it's no BS, guys. It's a lot of guys that are, you know, over 60. And they're like, dude, you know, finally somebody that says what we're thinking. And we, you know, you guys don't have time for bullshit, right? I don't either, you know. And so and people find me that are like that. So I appreciate the feedback. Shout out to Rusty Zippers. I'd love to meet you guys sometime if you ever want to come on. Where are you guys? Where are you, Walker? What state are you in? Are you in the United States? Where are you, man? Daddy-O says, continued by Stupid Dale, I sold stuff from Japan. I have rubies by Marantz, totally made in Japan. Cool. All made in copper by Ken Ishiwada before he died. Now, I wonder, no, okay, Marantz, Ken Ishiwada-san. No, that wasn't it. It was something son. I can't remember. That's cool, man. But yeah, all made in copper. So yeah, that cool old Marantz stuff, man. Oh, damn. I was going to have my guy on tonight. Austin, I haven't seen him show up here. Austin, man. Austin, shit. Okay, next week we're having Austin. Austin's an 80-year-old audiophile that I talked to, man. This guy's got chutzpah, too. He's 80 years old, but this dude is fired up still. I'm like, holy shit, bro. If I have half the energy that you do at 80, I'm stoked. But this guy met Saul Marantz. He started working in an audio store when he was like 15 years old. He's got the coolest stories, and I'm bringing him on to share him with you guys because sometimes I talk to these guys and I'm like, oh my God, dude, this needs to be a video. Like as I'm talking to them, I'm like, this totally like stop, save this. Like, let's make this a video. Like this is too freaking good a conversation not to have on the channel. So I will start bringing that to you. I'm going to bring this guy. His name is Austin, and he's in California, and he's just got excellent, cool stories. 80-year-old audiophile. Here is Larry says, under-evaluated, in your humble opinion. What's under-evaluated, Larry? Larry, and by the way, Larry, I have to get back with you on that APL. I know we left off, and we haven't picked back up, but we got to get you what you're after, brother. And I will, and yeah, okay. So thoughts on Joseph audio speakers? Killer. Lisa, what's up? Welcome. Oh wait, Lisa. Now somebody else is coming in under Lisa. Is this your wife's thing? Like somebody told me today they were coming in under their wife's deal. So I can't remember. I always get psyched when I think sometimes they're using their wife's thing, but otherwise I get psyched that it's a female because there's so few females in what we do that I totally support it. Anyways, Joseph Audio is awesome. Great stuff. Jeff Joseph knows what he is doing. So I totally support it. Rhapsody now carries Odin Carnegie made in Germany. Okay, don't know what that means. And not sure why you're pitching it. Audio Note comes from UK. Okay, yeah, isn't there two? There's Audio Note UK and Audio Note Japan as well. I think there's two, right? Your comments on Chord stereo amps are out of the UK, please. Chord, I don't know much about the Chord amps. I don't like the Chord DACs because they're too analytical sounding. And they're kind of, I like the way they're cool looking. They're just goofy, kind of interesting, like colors and shit. I like when they do that because it's different. But I don't know anything about their amps, but I think they're probably pretty good actually, because I think they make it into recording studios sometimes or mastering guys, Javier from Holland, High End Coffee. Your honesty and knowledge is wonderful, brother. Thanks, Javier. Appreciate it, man. Yes, bro. Spectrum has a monopoly here. Oh, Spectrum cable. Yeah. You don't have AT&T. You can't get glass fiber. That sucks, man. That's a hefty bill, bro. Netflix, Hulu, and Peacock and pay little fee to have it with commercial free. YouTube also. Stupid Dale in Anaheim. He's telling you, man. No, I don't own a Backert Labs. I asked an audio group what's the best balance tube preamp to pair with my Coda number 8. Many suggested Backert. It was the first time I heard of them. Yeah, I think he's a small kind of enthusiast little backed guy, one of these, smaller guy that people like, they'll every once in a while they'll get behind a dude that makes them at his house or in his shop. And, I think Backert kind of is one of those kind of homebrew type deals. What price point are you looking for right now? If I'm not mistaken, there is a SL1, a CAT audio, Convergent Audio Tech on 11 stereo used for sale by one of my clients. And the SL1 is legend, the things legends are made of. And I think he's asking 3,800. Xfinity jumped to 71. He's talking about cable. Albums BR release date. Stupid deal for Anaheim. Totally disabled. I am. Yeah, I know. I know who you are, dude. I know exactly who you are. Yeah, and you're talking to totally disabled. Wait now. Stupid Dale from Anaheim, the totally disabled veteran guy. Now, Aaron, which is Aaron, like Daddy-O, that's Aaron? Because Aaron also was a vet, and I think he also had some fallout from that, like some leftover stuff. I won't go into anything of anybody, but maybe you guys, maybe it's like two guys that meet up and that are like, hey bro, I know what you've been through, and then you found another dude that you can talk to. Audio tits. He changed it. Oh, I love it. Audio tits. What's up? The VRDS transport, I believe, is still the best one made. Yeah, man, I've got one in my collection. I keep it. It's a VRDS 10. I can't remember which one it is. I think Magnapan is price gouging. No, but they did raise their prices, and they should have, because they were too cheap, man. What was your first ever gear that really impressed you that wasn't worth more than a second-hand car? Oh boy. Okay, so like when I started this hobby, like when I got the addiction, was one of the first ones. I remember my first tube amp was a what's that guy's name? Steve Deckert Labs or Deckware. And I remember being blown away by tubes. I'd never heard tubes before, and but it wasn't powerful enough. So I only had it for a little while. I couldn't play it loud. I could only play it really soft. I had Wharfdale speakers at the time. I used to buy my audio gear on a thing called Ubid, and I would buy Wharfdales and shit. You could really get some great values because people had to bid on them, and it wasn't a big site, and you could scoop up, stuff. And every once in a while, something tasty would come on there in hi-fi. And then I got a Cinepro, which is my first big amp, and I had Wharfdales. And then that was probably, I remember some of those moments, and then I'm trying to remember. Then when I got Magnapans, that was a big deal. I got some VTL amps. That was a very big deal. I got a modded Denon 3910 by Alex Paychef of APL. That was a huge deal. Yeah, I can remember the little milestones. If I go back into my brain, I can remember the milestones that the ones that like were paradigm shifters. like where I had got that, and holy shit, that was like one of those things that I put in, and it was like boom, new level. Holy shit! I just went up, totally went up a level. I can remember probably if I sat down, I probably remember all of them. Got the Puritan from Mikey, excellent value, finest workmanship. Yeah, it's a good piece, man. It works great. It works great, man, and it beats all the other stuff. It beats the Audio Quest. What do they call that thing? Everest. It beats the Shunyata. It beats a lot of stuff. And it's only 2,300. The amps are killer. Abbey Road, sweet. Moody Blues, yeah, you know it. Paul picked up on that one. Hey Mike, I have KEF reference model 4.2 in musical fidelity tulip and monoblocks from amp ABM Guantanamera. Oh, Guntermania. I'm very satisfied. Not yet a streamer, but which streamer is good enough? Pretty much any of them, man. Streamers the DAC is the important part. If you know, and Javier, where you are again in Netherlands. Oh shit! So you're in Netherlands. Freaking look for Metrum Acoustics, man. That's right there. Look for Metrum Acoustics, or wait, what's his name? Cees Ruttenberg from Metrum Acoustics started his own brand, and it was called blank that I can't remember right now. But that is absolutely the DAC that you need to find. Look up Cees Ruttenberg, CEESRUJTENBERG or something like that, and find out what his stuff is called. And it's in Netherlands, and that's the greatest stuff. Or if you can't find that, then you can get, you know, from Denmark, get yourself a new OnTech. You know, that's, oh, wait a second, man. I'm sorry. You're asking about streamer. Duh, you're not asking. Okay. Streamer. So, man, I don't know. Get a small green computer. Get something it doesn't matter. Get anything. The streamers don't matter, man. I mean, very little. They're 20% of the picture. 80% of the picture is the DAC. Hey, Mikey, keep fighting the good fight. There he is. Matt Percy. Right? Did I just screw up on your first name? I just remember you as Percy. And Percy's a mountain bike enthusiast, man. The guy kills it on the mountain bike. Charles, good night, Mikey. Thanks, Charles. Oh, 2 hours and 12 minutes. Oh my God, I gotta go, you guys. I'm dying over here. I'm what? And PNT 2, 100% PNT. Cool. Okay, man. Called you about a JCat card a couple of months ago. Possibly used one off your service. I ended up buying one from JCat. Okay, cool. Rock on. Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Okay, guys, I got to see you. Andy Percy. That's right. I knew it was. I pulled it out too fast, man. I was like, that's why I even asked. I'm like, I think I'm wrong on that. No, what's wrong on that? Andy. Of course it's Andy. Andy Purse. The purse. Thanks, Nick. We'll see you later. I'm gonna roll. I don't have anything else, you guys. It's 2 hours and 13 minutes. So thank you all, and I will see you guys tomorrow. See you next week. Come back here. Please sign up if you haven't signed up. I'm sure all you guys are signed up. But thanks, guys. I'll see you soon. Cheers. Bye.